Welcome to the Recklessly Skeptical Podcast. My name is Josh.
My name's Matt.
And this is your friendly neighborhood atheist, Joe.
And today is December 11th, 2016, and we just want you to make sure to check out our other digital media, which you can find this also on Spreaker and on YouTube, depending on which one you're catching us on now. Also, visit our individual YouTube pages. Mine is ZZZ Giant Awake. Matt and Joe are the Evil Atheists.
Oh, yeah. We just hit 2,300 subscribers last night. Woo. Now we're like 2,310 or something.
We're so famous.
I'm practically a millionaire.
Yeah.
I'm practically a millionaire.
And
even though I've never been paid.
Yeah, neither have I. So, and then
maybe
also,
I have a dream that one day someone will pay us to do the podcast.
I have that dream too. But also, you can find us on Facebook on the Evil Atheist group page. Make sure to join us there. It is a private group, but we will gladly accept anybody.
And remember, atheist is plural, so add an S at the end, or you won't find us.
Freaking dummies.
All right, I think that's everything on the media side of things.
Yeah, I think we're good to go. So, should we jump into the stolen thought?
No.
No? Yeah, we should.
Okay.
All right, so this stolen thought is from Majid Nawaz. He wrote a book with Sam Harris, and I thought it correlated well with some things we're going to discuss in the podcast. So I'm going to read a little part from Majid Nawaz. So, quote, "Everything I'm going to say from here on, I say as a liberal. In fact, I say while being a liberal Democrat parliamentary candidate in London. A great liberal betrayal is afoot. Unfortunately, many fellow travelers of Islamism are on the liberal side of this debate. I call them regressive leftists. They are, in fact, reverse racists. They have a poverty of expectation for minority groups, believing them to be homogeneous and inherently opposed to human rights values. They are culturally reductive in how they see Eastern, and in my case, Islamic culture. And they are culturally, why can I not say that word? Deterministic in attempting to freeze their ideal of it in order to satisfy their Oriental fetish. While they rightly question every aspect of their own Western culture in the name of progress, they censor liberal Muslims who attempt to do so within Islam. And they choose to side with every regressive reactionary in the name of cultural authenticity and anti-colonialism," end quote. So, this kind of is this constant battle I see going on, where you have people that want to just bash Muslims and generalize, and then you have people that want to almost protect them, and any criticism, like the Ben Affleck, Sam Harris thing, any criticism is considered Islamophobia. So you have this constant battle back and forth, and it's totally polarized. These people say you can't say shit. These people want to ban them, ban Muslims. It's totally, and then there's the people in the middle trying to have a rational discussion, and they're also being labeled with those people that want to ban Muslims and like racists and bigoted, but they're just trying to have a rational discussion about ideas. And Josh might disagree with me.
Yeah, I kind of do. I think that. So the biggest problem that I have, and it's not really you that I disagree with, but Majid Nawaz, his use of the term regressive is kind of fucking stupid, honestly. Because for me, like, regressive is someone who goes against like liberal stances, not goes too far liberal. Like, using the term regressive for someone who's gone too far liberal is counterproductive. And then also, like, saying we should use more nicknames is also counterproductive. Or not nicknames, but like saying you should use pejoratives, like the regressives and stuff like that, is not useful. As somebody who considers himself in the center, who thinks that Muslims should not be infantilized, that they are responsible for their beliefs, and their beliefs are equally disturbing of criticism as Christianity. I mean, so when I talk to somebody who is that far left, then I get titled like called the right-wing slurs, and if I am talking with somebody who's further right, then I get titled with the terms like regressive and SJW, and it's like, no, I don't think so. I'm not either of those things.
But I understand what you're saying, that just using pejorative, calling people names isn't going to get the discussion anywhere. But don't you think how he gave it a label and then kind of elaborated on it and explained what he means? Don't you think that's fine? I mean, labels are useful, so we don't have to explain what somebody means every single time we use that label.
But regressive seems to go against the opposite of progressive, right?
Yes.
And so I consider myself a progressive, and I'm not. But what he's saying is that if you're super progressive, if you're too progressive, if you're protective of other people's culture in a way that's counterproductive, then you're regressive. But that is a stupid term to use that way.
I don't know if he's saying that exactly. I think what he means to say more or less is that the people that are so protective of these other cultures where you can't criticize ideas or any of that sort, they are regressive because they're perfectly, and he actually says this, they're perfectly willing to criticize their own Western culture, but any sort of criticism of that foreign culture they perceive as Islamophobia or, bigoted or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
Which I would say is regressive or completely hypocritical.
Yeah, sure. Hypocritical is fine. If we found a different title for it, I probably wouldn't be as frustrated with it. But the people who are regressive now are the people who are supporting Trump, the people who are calling for white supremacy. Like, that's what I think of when I think of regressive.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
They're pulling back on progression.
So would you agree with everything that Majid says, and except for the label, then?
I think the other thing that I have a problem with with the label and with the emphasis on that is that I think that that's an overplayed problem. I don't think that there are that many people who that are that protective of foreign cultures. I mean, there are people and there are circumstances where it comes up, and it would be useful to have a label as long as it's not that label.
Honestly, the only person I've seen who extremely got defensive over Islam was Ben Affleck.
Well, no, but there's also YouTube, like the left side, the far left
and
side,
a lot
of
of
YouTube.
politicians.
Which politicians?
So, and this isn't describing exactly what Majid said, but like even Obama and Hillary, they won't call out terrorism what it is.
No,
and I'm not. And hold on. Obama will say, and I somewhat agree with him. He's like, "What's the point if I say Muslim extremists?" Or, what's the point? You're possibly right. Sure, maybe that doesn't really do anything. But to flat out say this is not a problem of Islam, this is not. That's a fucking lie.
Yeah,
they are getting their shit from the dogma, from the scripture of the Quran and the Hadith, and for Obama to he's lying. He's fucking lying.
But you have to understand, so when they were making recruiting tapes, the last series of recruiting tapes that ISIS made, and probably the last one they'll ever make.
They'll use that. I get you.
Exactly.
Trump is the biggest recruiter for ISIS.
Yeah,
I understand that.
They use Trump's conversation, his speeches, to make sure that there's a firm black and white line. Like, this is them, this is Western culture, and this is us, we're Eastern culture. They won't accept us in America. They would think of you, the normal Muslim, as a radical Islamic terrorist. And the people who benefit from that type of language use, from labels like that, are in our society, the Christians who follow behind not Glenn Beck, but what the fuck is his name?
Sean Hannity.
Yeah, Sean Hannity. And the people who benefit the most from using those labels on the other side of the fence is the radical Islamic terrorists.
Yes, but I agree with all that. But an honest discussion is still important.
Sure, but I have not seen the president once not have an honest discussion about it. Just because he refuses to use the word Islamic terrorist or radical Islamic terrorist. Or he'll
say it has nothing to do with Islam. That's a lie.
If he says that it has nothing to do with Islam, then you're correct. I just don't. I can't recall on the top of my head any time that he's said that that radical Islam is not a problem.
No, not radical, but he'll say Islam has nothing to do with ISIS, even though Islam is in the name.
Well, I'm sure he's saying that as if a Christian would say that Christian terrorist has nothing to do with Christianity because he's not a real Christian. So I'm sure
that's what he's saying, which is bullshit. Because if you look at the dogma, it's the no true Scotsman fallacy.
Yeah.
But Let's just curb this for now.
Okay.
Let's shelf it because I have a feeling we talk like this for 45 minutes or
Sure.
more. But we will look for a video of Obama saying that, after we can talk about it later.
Yeah, let's bring that up on the next podcast. So now you guys have something to look forward to. We're slotting some time to discuss the discussion about radical Islamic terrorists.
Hey, Matt, can you quickly explain to me what the no true Scotsman fallacy is?
Yeah, sure. So, if I'm talking to a Christian and I'm like, this guy, the Westboro Baptist Church, they're Christians, blah, 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 and some moderate Christian will say,
They're not real
they're
Christians.
not real Christians.
Yeah.
Well, they are. They're following the dogma. Every Christian could say that about every other Christian.
Yeah, no, I remember growing up being Baptist and being told that Mormons weren't real Christian. And then I remember the Mormons telling me that Baptists weren't real Christian.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah.
All right. So, we have a video here, speaking of Christians, of a guy going into a mall to tell children that are there to see Santa that Santa isn't real, and he's like yelling it in the mall, and that Christmas is about Jesus. And he's like, it's bad to lie to your kids. That's fine. I don't want to lie to my daughter. When my daughter asked me, Dad, is Santa real? I told her no, because I felt bad about lying. But I'm not going in the fucking mall yelling this to strangers and their children, and saying it's about Jesus. And it's funny because he brings up like you're a liar, but you're lying because you're telling him Jesus is real. You don't know.
Spoiling it.
Yeah, you're spoiling the video. Why should we even
Well,
watch
I mean,
it
it's
then?
still going to be awesome to watch it or to listen to it. Okay.
This guy's teeth are awesome too.
Yeah, let's go.
Hi, it's Pastor Dave Grisham here for Last Frontier Evangelism. And today we're at the mall in Amarillo, Texas, and we're going to tell the children here today the truth that there is no Santa Claus and that Christmas is about Jesus Christ. Jesus died on the cross to pay for their sins. And Jesus was born in a manger 2016
He's
years
all
ago.
spitting and drooling.
So
Did
here
you
we-
see that?
I saw that. And I love that he's like, Jesus was born 2016 years ago in a manger.
Yeah, and as he says that, a bunch of spit comes flying out of his mouth and it's drooling down his lip.
This guy, yeah, it's awesome. All right.
White power.
Oh, I bet he just looks like a white nationalist.
We're just pointing out the fact that yes, he's disgusting and he is also white by chance.
Yeah.
We're going to tell them the truth.
So there's a big line of kids and their parents right here, and he's about to yell at them.
Folks, my name is Pastor David. Kids, I wanted to tell you today that there is no such thing as Santa Claus. Santa Claus does not exist. The Christmas season is about Jesus. Jesus was born 2016 years ago. He was born in a manger in a small town called Bethlehem. And that's the truth about Christmas. The man you're going to see today.
I wish I was there.
Yeah.
I wish, because I would have had a great discussion with this guy. But I wouldn't be standing in line to see Santa because my kids know that Santa isn't real. So it's funny because they'll look at us all like conniving little faces and be like, Santa's real. We're like, yeah.
You should skip ahead though. We don't need to listen to him yell at people for another minute. Let's just go to the confrontation portion.
Confrontation portion. Where are they?
Right around here. Yeah. This is good.
So a few gentlemen confront this gentleman, if you want to call him that, and here we go.
Claus. It's about Jesus. Tell them the truth.
Go. Yes, we do tell them the truth. Now, go on.
Sir, don't put your hands on
Then
me.
go on. Quit
Put
talking
your
this
hand-
mess. You understand me?
Keep
Now
your
stop.
hands to yourself.
I got my kids over there. We don't need you coming over here blabbing whatever the hell you blabbing.
I'm
So
telling
go
them the
on.
truth, that there
Go.
is no Santa Claus.
Now, go.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. You need to keep your hands to yourself, sir, and don't put your hands on people. That's
Then
assault.
don't come over here talking your mess.
And don't come over here and tell your children the truth, that there is no Santa Claus.
That's not your decision for me to tell my kids what's the truth and what's not.
And that's a perfect point. So this guy wants to tell his kids that Santa's real? Yeah, by all means.
Yeah.
And this guy is just being a hypocrite saying, you're lying, but I'm going to tell him that Jesus is real. You know?
I told my kids that Santa Claus is real, and what I get out of that is I want them to have a little bit of magic in their life. You know what I mean? Because you know, I don't know. I can go off on it for a minute, but let's just keep watching the video.
No, I mean that's really it. Like
That's pretty much it. And we tell our kids that they can pretend and it's fun, and when we're watching movies, we pretend Santa's real and all that. So I think they still get the magic, you know.
I think someone should really go to his church and yell out that Jesus isn't real. Jesus isn't real.
If
It's
that
just
was here
based
in
on
Utah, I'd say let's go right now
Yeah, I'd
after
go
the
with you.
podcast.
yeah.
Because it is Sunday. We
And
could go-
he's there right now, like telling them how Santa isn't real. I wonder if he's in church right now and telling the kids. Like,
could we go inside, like the church, and just start yelling it?
We could until they kicked us out.
Yeah,
Or
Jesus
cops
isn't
showed up.
real. Well,
I mean, it's questionable
Yeah.
legally.
No, I mean we could physically go in there, but then they would call the cops and we would be removed or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's just Jesus isn't real. It's about the shortest day of the calendar year. It's based on some astronomical bullshit.
It's almost like it's pagan or something.
Yeah, I know. For real. Almost.
Almost.
I saw a funny thing. It was like, it's all, this is Christmas, and it showed, you know, a lot of Muslim type stuff, and it said, this is Yule, and it showed, you know, a lot of like a reindeer and a Christmas tree and stuff like that, and they're all, if you want to, gosh, I can't remember. If you want to put Christmas back into Christmas, then, or Christ back into Christmas, then, you know,
Leave everything else that everybody likes.
yeah, basically. And it was hilarious.
Yeah, and some odd things like this guy has this stupid, crazy belief that Jesus was actually born on December 25th. Like, that's demonstrably false. So
And
first off,
even most Christians disagree with that.
yeah, first
Well,
off,
no, yeah, they didn't change it till the 25th up until about like 200
yeah,
years ago.
It was the reason that they changed it was to try and convert pagans into Christianity.
Yeah.
It was a move by the Pope at the time. But we're going back to the concept that matters. So the first thing is that most Christian scholars think that if there was a person named Jesus born, he was born like 4 or 5 years before the turn of the century or something like that. The other thing to note is that the Romans were really good about keeping track of their taxes, and their taxes did not happen in December, and that's supposedly the season when he would have moved, and they never had any law about people having to return to their hometown. It was just a way to fulfill a Jewish prophecy that Jesus would be born in Bethlehem, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and then also
Lies.
And he was saying he was born 2016 years ago.
Yeah, that's
Isn't that when he technically died?
No,
That's supposed to be when he was born, but like Josh just said,
Okay.
he was
the calendar's
supposedly
off.
born
3 or 4 years before.
The turn
Right?
of the century. Okay.
Yeah, and that's because we've gotten
If
better
he
and
even
better
existed.
at keeping track of calendars, and it's just not true. Like, wrong.
So you mean but Jesus, he was a Middle Eastern, like his parents,
Wrong.
Joseph and Mary. They're
Wrong.
Middle Eastern people
he
who were
was
looking
white.
for refuge,
He was
weren't
white.
they?
Wrong.
I know. Weird, and like the whole
Weird.
stories about like accepting those Middle Eastern refugees
Yeah,
Yeah.
into your home.
yeah. I will. You know, it's funny how Christians just can't stand those refugees, and they're celebrating Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we?
These cookies suck.
Hey,
Dip them in coffee. Dip one in Matt's coffee. Right
Yeah,
the
dip-
fuck now.
there's
Let's do it.
there's alcohol in that coffee.
That's okay.
Hey, Joe,
Oh.
my cookies don't suck.
Oh no,
I think Joe's a
I
cookie
can't have
snob.
any of this
I think he
coffee
is.
because there's alcohol in it.
All right, let's move forward. So Santa isn't real. Oh, guess.
Holy shit! How much fucking alcohol do you have in there?
Well, I poured some in there, and I like stirred and put sugar, and then I forgot. Did I put Kahlua in there? Nope. And then I added more. And this is the good Kahlua.
Dude, I straight up dip you. Like if a cop came in and smelt my breath, he'd be like, "Have you been drinking? You've been drinking for hours." Like this cookie, I swear to God, just soaked up a full shot.
And this is the Especial Kahlua that's like 40%. It's not the regular Kahlua that's low
Oh my
percent.
God, dude! I was not expecting that. I was just like, "Bleh."
Was it okay?
It was okay, but maybe if I expected that much, I didn't expect to
Take
really-
a drink.
I don't know, man. Holy shit, I gotta drive.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about fentanyl though.
Yep, Joe, you're up with the fentanyl.
What?
What? Joe doesn't like my booze and my coffee.
It's just a lot of booze.
What's the point if you're not going to get drunk?
That's
well, you
how I
want to
used
taste
think
your
that.
coffee a little bit, don't you?
I mean,
Matt, it's
sure.
not. It's 11:10 in the morning.
Hey, we're not prohibitionists here, motherfuckers. Let's move forward.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
I'm all about Bloody Marys and Kahlua in my and fucking...
Matt isn't drinking. He's observing his Sunday practices.
There we go.
It's true.
Okay, what story? Oh,
The
we are
fentanyl.
talking about
Yeah.
fentanyl. Okay, so this is coming from the Slatest, December 9th, 2016. Pharma executives arrested in shockingly organized scheme to prescribe notorious opioid. And I think this is a good story. You don't hear many like this. On Thursday, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention released data showing the overdose deaths caused by synthetic opioids such as fentanyl, the drug that killed Prince, rose by nearly 75% in 2015. That's a lot. On the same day, federal prosecutors in Massachusetts announced the arrest of 6 former employees, including a former CEO and 2 former vice presidents of the Phoenix-based and NASDAQ-traded fentanyl producer Insys Therapeutics. The individuals are charged with bribing doctors and otherwise conspiring to induce the prescription of fentanyl product called Subsys. The indictment details a variety of brazenly dishonest methods by which doctors and insurance companies were allegedly convinced to issue and fund prescriptions of Subsys. I guess that's the name of the company or whatever, or Incest too. They paid doctors to give educational lectures about the use of Subsys that they're not supposed to do that. It is legal, except the prosecutors alleged that the company paid said doctors in direct proportion to the frequency with which they wrote prescriptions for the drug.
Yeah, and that's such a shady practice that happens. And we should have. I wonder if our buddy who is not a doctor but a
PA.
Yeah, I wonder if he'd be willing to come on and talk about drug addiction because
I think that's a great idea, and I'm sure he would.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a shitty practice, and it's a somewhat like well-known practice that doctors do get paid by the script that they write.
I worked for a company here in Salt Lake. I would go and deliver all sorts of packages, and it was a freight company, and I'd go to homes and deliver TVs and all sorts of shit. I was all over the place, delivering and picking up anything you can think of from body parts.
I was about to say, didn't you deliver body parts?
Yeah, like heads and hands and feet to labs and torsos and stuff. And
Wieners?
Probably. But we used to do all sorts of stuff like that. But then I would also deliver prescription drugs to people's homes. I'd deliver a whole pallet and stuff. And what it was
to somebody's house?
To somebody's house. Now and I would talk to these people, and there was a couple of people on my route that I would deliver pharmaceuticals to, and they were the
contractor.
Yeah, they would go and take the doctors out to eat, take them out to lunch, go bring lunch into the doctors, and show them the new drug and the new pills, and give the doctor a couple to hand out or
That's
whatever.
Bullshit.
And they would
To hand out.
Yeah, dude. And then they would prescribe these pills.
It'd be funny if, like, your strategy half an hour into the conversation with the doctor, like, how do you feel? Feel pretty good. Yeah, that's the fentanyl with your coffee. Suck it in there. Hope you'll enjoy.
Yeah, but that's, I don't know. So
it's a business. And
it is a business.
It's not about saving people's lives or making people's lives more enjoyable while they're still alive. It's straight up about money.
And then, and I also asked, I was like, okay, because, I was interested in it at the time, because most of these homes I would deliver these pharmaceuticals to were huge homes. And so I would talk to these people, and I'd be like, okay, well, how do you get in on this? I imagine you need to have some sort of pharmaceutical training and some sort of, medical degree or something. And the guy's like, nope, you do need a bachelor's degree, but it can be in anything. He's all, I have mine in art. And I was like, oh, okay. So, like, these people aren't even really trained in the pharmaceutical industry
or
either.
medicine.
Or in medicine or any of that, So they're going out there spitting all this shit to the doctors and, and I don't know. You could tell, you can look at it and tell it's a business. And then this article talking about these people being arrested, that really makes me happy because I feel like a lot of these pharmaceutical companies are definitely in it for the money. It's a company. It's not, hey, we're saving people. No, there's none of that.
But that's just a drop in the bucket, man.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like that's like taking a couple street level.
But it's good that it
drug
happened,
dealers.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I would like to see more articles like this, and I think if more people share articles like this, maybe it'll become more prevalent to arrest people like
And
this.
I don't think that we'll take opioids seriously until like enough people have enough family members die that the people get fed up with it.
And now it's actually, in certain states, the number of people ODing on opioids is dropping. Certain states where marijuana is legal. So maybe we won't ever get there where it's taken serious in that light, but weed will just overpower the opioids, and opioids will disappear into the sunset,
That'd
hopefully.
be nice. That'd be nice.
That would be nice. We definitely, especially here in Utah, we have a huge opioid addiction problem
And heroin.
and heroin
And
smoke
porn.
weed.
And there's no laws allowing any sort
But
of form of
let's
marijuana.
focus on because our legislature is too busy focusing on the real problem.
Like Planned Parenthood.
porn.
Porn.
Porn and
porn.
Planned Parenthood.
No, not Planned Parenthood. Porn, man. Porn.
Well, porn.
So addictive. All right, let's blast through the next story.
All right, yep. So, Ohio man zombie nativity scene vandalized. So this story is coming from Sacramento Township, Ohio. The man responsible for a controversial...
I don't think it's Sacramento, just to be clear, because Sacramento's in
Sycamore.
California.
Sorry,
Sycamore.
maybe the booze are getting to me. Sycamore Township, Ohio. The man...
Maybe the booze are getting to me.
So, the man responsible for a controversial zombie nativity scene, and you guys got to look at these pictures. They're great.
Look, that guy's so totally drunk. Look, that guy's drunk too.
In front of his home, has vowed to rebuild it after it was damaged by vandals. Jason Dixon said his handmade depiction of Jesus, Mary, and other biblical figures as flesh-eating zombies was damaged early Tuesday morning. The main structures of the zombies were destroyed, Jason Dixon told Channel 9. They knocked... Whoa.
Hey, just take your mouse off of it. There you go.
Oh, okay. See these new mouse? I got a new mouse.
Yes.
Remember how Josh talks shit on my mouse?
Yeah, we
Oh,
can.
yeah.
Let's talk about that in between.
Where's your
stories,
old
though.
mouse?
Like in the closet.
Oh, okay.
So...
Josh.
All right, Joe, have you been drinking? The main structures
Yeah,
of the
I had a cookie.
zombies were destroyed. Jason Dixon tells Channel 9 they knocked over 3 of the characters and flipped baby Jesus out into the yard.
Poor baby Jesus.
Dixon has...
Jesus out
So-
into the yard.
Okay, listen to this part. Dixon has been putting up the display since 2014, but this is the first time it has been damaged. I expect it, Dixon said. There's going to be mad people. I wasn't mad or anything. I'm like, well, we'll fix it. And I was just happy they didn't steal anything. According to the AP, the township took Dixon to court last year, saying the display violated zoning regulations. It eventually dropped the case. So this motherfucker, like, he sets it up, cool, whatever, and they took him to court.
Yeah.
I would love to drive through that town and see how many nativity scenes, of regular, not zombies, were up.
Yeah.
And were those people taken to fucking court? I doubt it.
So I'm guessing, is he an atheist or?
I'm not sure. If he's not atheist.
We should get his name and maybe message him on Facebook or something.
Yeah, Jason Dixon.
Yeah.
So, alrighty. So our next story.
You're
unless
gonna
you
put
guys,
a picture of that up, right?
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, well, real quick before the next story. Nice mouse, Matt. I like it.
hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Now quit giving me shit.
It's much bigger.
It's
oh,
like-
and it's wireless.
It's
Ooh,
like regular
fancy.
hand size.
Yep. The other one was tiny. All right, so this story.
Made my hands look big, though.
It was Donald Trump size.
All right, so man allegedly threatens to cut throat of off-duty Muslim NYPD cop. So, the New York City Police Department arrested a man Sunday for allegedly threatening an off-duty Muslim NYPD officer who was wearing her hijab, CBS News New York reported. Christopher Nelson, 36, of Brooklyn, was charged with menacing as a hate crime and aggravated harassment, according to media reports. Amil Alaskari was parking her car in Brooklyn Saturday evening when she spotted someone shoving and yelling at her 16-year-old son, according to a police report cited by outlets. The unarmed Alaskari confronted the suspect, who allegedly told her ISIS expletive. There you go. So I wonder what he said. ISIS fuck, ISIS bitch, ISIS cunt. What do you
So
think?
I don't think it matters.
No, it does matter.
Oh, okay.
So do you want to see if they're both racist or prejudiced, racist and sexist, or just racist?
Yes,
Okay.
it matters. So,
okay.
anyways, ISIS, whatever. I will cut your throat. Go back to your country.
I like
So-
how they didn't punctuate that correctly. I will cut your throat. Go back to your country. There's no pause.
There's no exclamation point or like.
No comma.
So they ended up arresting the guy. I mean, and this is something I was having a discussion with one of my friends on Facebook, and he was, and I think we talked about this last time, where he's like, "Yeah, they can be Americans as long as they don't take their Quran literally." Well, you know, a lot of these Muslims in the country were born here. They are American. Go back to your country. Like, just because they're fucking brown and Muslim doesn't mean they weren't fucking born here.
Yeah.
And they're just as American as you.
Yeah, especially this woman who's serving as a police officer who's protecting American citizens.
Yeah, it's just people in their narrow view of the world and of Islam and Christianity. Yes, I don't like Islam and Christianity as much as the next atheist, but just because somebody's Muslim doesn't mean
Yeah, and so
they're not American. It's just fucking dumb shit.
Yeah.
Here's where I draw the line on liberal, like people who are liberal. Like, here's how you know who my friends are who are liberal. Right as soon as somebody starts saying that, hey, we need to censor people on the right, and right as soon as someone on the right says we need to start censoring people on the left, or shout them down to the point where they can't even talk. Once you start censoring people, that's when you become my enemy. My first priority is protecting free speech.
Word.
Ah.
I like it. Alrighty. So,
Groovy.
Groovy.
time for the science story.
Science story. Joe.
No, it's not that. Stop it, Matt. You know how loud that shit is on the recording?
What, the last time I did it, I could hear it just fine.
Okay, because usually that shit was really loud when I tried to run it when I was producing. But it was what was the sign?
Is that laughter, Matt?
Science.
Science.
I think that's the song. We're going with.
Science.
All right, let's get on with the story.
Why not? I'm not stealing anything.
Sounds like you are. It's not an original idea.
All I said was Joe 3 times. That's just what I...
I think we're going to have to start calling you Vanilla Ice. Didn't he, like, steal somebody else's
Yeah,
beat? And it was, he
Ice-
like,
Ice
changed
Baby.
it.
Yeah, it was originally...
Queen.
Yeah, Queen.
He, like, changed one little thing.
Ice
He's like,
Baby, and what was the other one?
I remember I saw a video. He's like, no,
Under
theirs
Pressure.
goes like this. Dun 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 dun. And ours goes like this. Dun 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 dun. Like,
If we take a break, we should do the because it's Vanilla Ice, Ice Baby, and Under Pressure by Queen.
yeah, under pressure.
Dun, 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 dun,
Pushing
dun.
down on me. Pushing down
God,
on
that guy
you,
was such
man
a
on his
fucking.
soul.
Okay, let's move forward.
He was what?
He was like a fucking musical genius.
He was, yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Okay,
Joe,
we're like 40 minutes into this
I
motherfucker.
fucking love that song.
I know.
Okay, all right. So this is coming from Science Alert. Joe.
Oh my god, man.
Sorry, I had another cookie.
Vanilla Science.
Joe keeps dipping his cookie in my coffee. It's not that well, it's pretty strong.
Josh, you don't drink, do you?
No, I don't.
You should at least have a taste of that fucking thing.
No, I really want to have a taste. I'll have a smell. I
Yeah,
will not
have
have
a
a
smell.
taste. I don't. Yeah, that's pretty strong.
Yeah.
Like, my hairs are melting in my nose.
All right, science story.
All right, so sea ice off the coast of Antarctica and the Arctic hits record lows in November, and scientists are now reporting that as of December 4th, we've lost 3.76 million square kilometers of the stuff, more than the total area of India. As startling as this is, at this point, we shouldn't really be surprised. Last month, temperatures in parts of the Arctic rose 20 degrees Celsius above normal, and 2016 is on track to be the hottest year on record. There are some really crazy things going on. Mark Suries, director of the U.S. National Snow and Ice Data Center, told Alistair Doyle for Reuters. It's an extraordinary departure from the norm, added Anders Leverman from the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research in Germany. Cerise and his team report that in November 2016, Arctic sea ice extent averaged 9 million square kilometers, the lowest November for Arctic sea ice on record. That's 800,000 square kilometers below November 2006, which held the previous record for the lowest levels of sea ice in November. It's also 1.95 million square kilometers below the 1981 to 2010 long-term average for November. So I'm just going to skip ahead.
Okay.
This article also shows you a bunch of graphs and stuff. So let's see here. So on the sign that Antarctica is headed for a delayed but devastating response to climate change was the appearance of thousands of strange blue lakes back in August, the exact same kind that caused Greenland's ice sheets to lose a whopping 1 trillion tons of ice between 2011 and 2014. East Antarctica is the part of the continent where people have for quite a long time assumed that it's relatively stable. One of the researchers who spotted the lakes, Stuart Jameson from Durham University, said at the time, "There's not a huge amount of change. It's very, very cold, and so it's only very recently that the first superglacial lakes on top of the ice were identified. As you might have guessed, none of this has positive implications for the fate of humanity because all that sea ice is melting into the ocean, and in doing so, it amplifies the warming process by exposing the dark sea that was once beneath it to sunlight, and this in turn causes more ice to melt." So basically, why I wanted to read you guys this article is because you get a lot of science deniers and climate change deniers and stuff, and their whole issue is, yeah, the ice on top of Antarctica is melting, but the sea ice is growing, so it's okay. There's more ice, actually. And it's like, no, it's the sea ice is shrinking as well. So, and it's what they said, this is 1 million times more square miles than the last record, which was in 2006, which was 1 million times, and it's shrinking. People don't understand. Well, this year it got bigger, and it's like, so look, man, it's going to be a wave. Okay, some years the sea ice will grow, some years it's going to shrink, but it's going down.
Yeah,
it is going down.
And even if the sea ice is growing, the land ice compared to the sea ice is astronomical. The land ice is what matters.
Yeah, and the more the sea ice melts, the more it melts the inner ice.
Yeah, and it's Jon Stewart's. I don't know if you guys saw his. Okay, so just to introduce this video, we decided to find a clip. It's Jon Stewart pulls up a bowl of ice and a cup of water and decides to demonstrate it here. But here's this perfect reaction to the senator who's talking about it. Senator from Texas, of course. Go ahead.
For the sea level to rise 2 feet, I mean, think about it. If your ice cube melts in your glass, it doesn't overflow. It's displacement. I mean, this is some of the things that they're talking about mathematically and scientifically don't make sense.
Are you f***ing kidding me? Are you f***ing kidding me? I don't even know. I don't even know what to do with that. How far back to the elementary school core curriculum do we have to go to get someone on the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology caught up? Do we have to break out the paper mache and the baking soda so you can make a volcano? Is that what we have to do?
I remember doing that.
Is that how basic the science class was when you went, nah, I don't need to know this anymore? I mean, for God's sakes. Look, here, look, here, look. Here's a glass of ice water. Hey, that ice isn't making the water overflow because it's already in the water. But imagine there's a whole bunch of other ice that's not in the water. It's on the land. You know, the part where the water isn't. And then when temperatures rise and the land ice melts enough to fall in, oh, it's everywhere! It's everywhere! Do you understand?
All right, even though that wasn't exactly what you were talking about, but
Yeah.
that's, I mean, like, land ice matters.
Yeah, well, the
It's
land
like
ice,
the key is. It's the key.
Hashtag land ice matters.
yeah, land ice matters, but the land ice is definitely melting and shrinking. That's already been proven. But then you get these people who are denying science and global warming. They're saying the land ice doesn't matter; it's the sea ice that matters. But hey, guess what? That ice is melting too. Just to throw it in their face. You know what I mean? But yeah, the sea ice isn't what matters. It's the fucking land ice.
Yeah. And it's crazy to watch the videos, like the lapse time on watching the, because NASA
Oh,
has
yeah.
these videos that you can watch, the time lapse of the ice melting, both on both poles. You should definitely check that out, and I'll try and post it on the Evil Atheist Facebook page.
And I just want to throw in, I've seen a lot of people talk about the climate and denying it and the science.
Yeah.
If you're curious, just go to NASA. I'm sure some of you are going to say it's a government conspiracy. But if
Yeah.
you're a rational human being, go to NASA and look at their graphs and their statistics and their science, their studies, and get your information from them.
Well, that's the thing. I don't even know where these other people are getting their information. Where are they getting information that
They're either making it up or they're getting it from some fucking
Well, they call
pseudoscience fucking place.
Yeah, that's usually funded somehow by the oil companies, and they still don't get that the oil company has a vested interest in trying to make us not believe in global warming.
Yeah,
Yep.
because then they can continue to drill and continue
Make
to
money.
use fossil fuels.
Yeah, no,
and-
I think that if everybody took an honest look at what's happening to the planet with global warming, with CO2 in the air, that it would be over tomorrow, but we're refusing to. Like, we are the general population is the biggest part of the problem, because there needs to be that awakening of, hey, we're all going to die if we don't fucking fix this.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and I just posted a video of this guy in Australia, and he was on this river, and he was talking about fracking, and he's on a very, I can't remember what river it was. It was a pretty famous river in Australia and stuff, but he's on this river, and he's talking about how there's a fracking company that's drilling or doing fracking less than a kilometer away, and then he holds a lighter down to the river and lights it, and the river just starts on fire.
Yeah, I
And
saw
shit,
that video.
and he's like, this shit needs to end.
Yeah.
You and you also look at there was some people hunting. I think, did you show that, Matt?
I saw that one. They're walking through the woods, and there's pipelines, like what's going on in Dakota.
Yeah.
And the shit is just pouring out of the ground. And they called
Yeah.
the number because there's, like, signs everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're like, we've been here for 30 minutes. Nobody's here yet. And it's gallons and gallons every second
Yeah.
of, oil, fuel, whatever it is, pumping into the ground, into the drinking water.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, this is the general population usually doesn't take action until somebody they know personally dies or is affected by it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so let's move to the secular story. Hey, why don't I have a song?
Oh, do you want a song?
No, not really.
Boom, boom, secular story.
So this is the Freedom of Thought Report, and I urge everybody to go and check this out. So go to freethoughreport.com, and I'll give you a brief description, and then we can just talk about it. Really, I want everybody to go to this website and look at it because it's very informative. So here we go. this is a general introduction. The IHEU Freedom of Thought Report is a unique annual report and online resource looking at the rights and treatment of the non-religious in every country in the world. Specifically, this report looks at how non-religious individuals, whether they call themselves atheists, agnostics, humanists, freethinkers, or are otherwise just simply not religious, are treated because of their lack of religion or absence of belief in a God. We focus on discrimination by state authorities, that is systemic, legal, or official forms of discrimination and restrictions on freedom of thought, belief, and expression, though we do also try to include some consideration of extra-legal persecution or persecution by non-state actors, social discrimination, and personal experience where possible. So they basically have set up a report of every country in the world. Last time they did it, I think it was in 2012, or they do it every year, but a while back they only had 130 countries. This year they have every single country on the report.
Yeah, and just to kind of give a breakdown of what you should take away from what Matt read is that they're categorizing it into two separate forms. So there's discrimination that is institutionalized or by the government, by a state actor, and then there's discrimination done by non-state actors. So they want to keep track of both the legal forms of discrimination, such
and
as
then the civil, basically,
yeah,
right?
such as in Saudi Arabia. So I'll get to that in a second. Such as in Saudi Arabia, where you can be killed for being a heathen, for not believing, and so that's enforced by the state. So that's one form. The other form is where it is legal to discriminate. And I can't think of a religious law per se, but for example, you won't get punished in Russia if you gay bash, for example. So it's that the discriminatory act is not illegal.
Gotcha. And so if you go to their general introduction page, click on the report, and then go down to country index, they have every country in the world by alphabetical order. It starts with Afghanistan, Albania, and then there's 4 sections: expression, society, education, and government in the Constitution. And you can click on these, and it's very informative, and it gives you a breakdown of all these different categories, and it grades them. And you can go through every damn country in the world. So I just want everybody to go there, check it out.
What's the United States rank? I'm just curious.
Let's go. It doesn't have a search bar.
Control F.
Control F.
United States.
Or U.S. Oh.
And now hit next. So go over here and click down 2 or 3 times.
See, Josh is always teaching me computer stuff. I had no idea that was a thing. Keep going.
Yep. And there you go.
There we go. All right. So we can click on the United States. And we score decently, definitely better than Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the United States of America is a large country of around 315 million people, bordered by Canada to the north and Mexico to the south. Since the end of World War II, the U.S. has been widely considered the most powerful nation on earth and remains very influential globally in economic, cultural, and political affairs.
Yellow, green, yellow, green. So I think that yellow is the second to best.
I think so.
And so it also gives a breakdown on why they're going away, or how they grade each section. So official symbolic difference to religion. So it's saying that in the Constitution and government, it does tend to lean in favor of religious symbols. But under education and children's rights, it says there's no formal discrimination in education, for example. If it was back to where we had to teach, or where evolution was not allowed to be taught in schools, I'm sure that would be yellow or red or whatever the color is appropriate for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it's great. And then it actually gives a breakdown of those 4 different categories as you scroll down. Very informative. Great job. I think this is an awesome thing. So I just want to urge everybody to go to freethoughtreport.com.
Okay.
That's really cool.
We're going to skip over the next story, which was about Trump trying to retain control or be able to be a producer of what is it called? The Apprentice. So he still wants to be a producer while he's president, which is stupid because that obviously creates a number of conflicts of interest. And besides, he's supposed to be the president, not focused on any business deals.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move forward to the next one. Still talking about Donald Trump, this story is about one of the probable, well, I don't know if, because it's like a plurality of options that Trump's still reserving the right to choose from, but the newest name for his Secretary of State pick is Tillerson, which is Rex Tillerson. And let me just read the first paragraph. This is from Bloomberg Politics. Exxon CEO Tillerson emerging as Trump's Secretary of State pick. And the first paragraph is ExxonMobil Corp. Chief Executive Officer, CEO Rex Tillerson is emerging as Donald Trump's choice of Secretary of State, a move that would hand top diplomatic powers to a man whose ties with Russia, Russian President Vladimir Putin, go back about 2 decades. A source close to Trump said the president-elect had not formally offered Tillerson the job yet, but was likely to do so. An announcement is expected in the next few days. According to the person who asked not to be identified discussing internal deliberations. NBC earlier reported that Tillerson was Trump's pick. Tillerson met with Trump for more than 2 hours on Saturday. Now, this is a fucking nightmare. So now, Trump's cabinet, so people who are saying, hey, give Trump a chance, this is the chance that we've given Trump. We can tell what direction he's planning on going in by his cabinet pick. So far, he's picked an anti-science person to lead the EPA. He's now he chose Goldman Sachs president, a former Goldman Sachs president, to lead his Secretary of
Treasury?
Yeah, Treasury.
Really?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. And
Yes.
then now he has this
Drain the swamp.
ExxonMobil CEO is going to be Secretary of State. This is somebody who has had business dealings throughout the world, especially in the Middle East.
Yeah, if those 3 examples don't fucking get people fucking riled up,
Yeah.
I don't know what will.
Drain the swamp my ass.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do is get a sense of the cognitive dissonance of some of the Trump supporters on tape. And this was done by Jordan Klepper of The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. And he's talking to supporters at his thank you rally or his victory rallies.
Yeah.
Depending
His victory tour.
Yeah. So as soon as you're ready to go, Matt.
Let's do this.
Build the wall?
Build a wall, drain the swamp.
Lock her up?
We're going to lock her up, of course.
Now, some people are saying she's a good person, shouldn't be prosecuted.
Well, they're liars.
Well, that person is Donald Trump.
Drain that swamp.
At least we know Donald Trump's not going to stand for having Hillary's elitist New York bankers anywhere near the government.
None of the bull.
Except for bringing in some billionaire bankers.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah, sure. So some of that bull.
Sure.
Yeah.
Goldman Sachs guy, that is the swamp we want to drain.
Sure.
But also make Secretary of the Treasury.
Oh, yeah.
The swamp will be drained. Now, he does have a couple people like Steve Mnuchin, who was at Goldman Sachs.
You got to fill the swamp.
You got to, there's parts of the swamp they're going to come in. There's parts of the swamp that are going to,
That's not as catchy to say. So, yeah.
It's not, yeah.
Don't you want the most qualified person, even though it might be a so-called, swamp member, lobbyist, or whatnot? Is that not the best thing to do?
Somebody who's the most qualified for the job, has the most experience, even if some of their background is suspect, that's the person who should have that job.
That's right. A common sense way of looking at things.
And that was, I think, Hillary Clinton's entire platform.
Point is,
All right. So that's really what I wanted to get. And
Oh my God! What did you say? Cognitive dissonance?
Yes.
With an fucking exclamation point.
yeah, so they're the 3 things that again, to rehash this, because we do it every week, the 3 things that he ran on was drain the swamp, lock her up, and build the wall. And he doesn't look like he's going to do any of those 3 things.
Yeah.
But the point is that he's had his chance. His chance went up to where he started electing people or selecting people for the cabinet. If he was serious about the shit, his platform, then he would be selecting people who were outside of the lobbyists, outside of the bankers, outside of the big corporations that are donating super PAC money, and reach out to people who are serious about getting shit done. And the only person who was really qualified to even make those cabinet selections was Bernie Sanders, and he's long gone.
It makes me so sad. I miss you, Bernie. I miss waking up, being excited.
Yeah.
Seeing what Bernie was up to that day. I had a small man crush on Bernie. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, well, I had a I wish he was my grandfather kind of crush.
Yeah.
So,
Wonder what Grandpa Bernie's up to today. Maybe he'll take me fishing.
but yeah, so Tillerson is just another example of this bullshit. And if Tillerson gets elected, that's it. We need to start making movement now. if there's a civil war, a peaceful civil war, of course, like now is the time to start it. We need to start going after Trump and his cabinet now. All right, but that's it for this story.
For this story.
Yeah, let's go to DAPL.
What's DAPL?
DAPL is the Dakota Access Pipeline.
Oh.
All right, so this story is, I'll read the title. How about we just read the title, guys?
Yeah.
Sure.
In huge victory, Army Corps of Engineers, which I used to be a part of, calls for full environmental impact statement on pipeline. So the Army Corps of Engineers has announced that it will require a full environmental impact statement for the section of the Dakota Access Pipeline that crosses Sioux ancestral lands and passes under the Missouri River. Here's a statement.
And we should also give credit to who this was by. This was done by Go Down. It's on Meteor Blades, and it was. I guess it's by Meteor Blades on dailycost.com. But I think we have enough of the story to just talk about it. I mean, this is a pretty well-known story. The story is about
Matt, you need a new mouse.
The Dakota Access Pipeline.
I don't know shit about computers and mice and.
Yeah, Matt got lost already, and now we're distracted from the story.
Yeah. So I mean, it is. So let's break this down. It is a huge victory, but I know the way they were getting those permits. They would get a permit for a few miles or however many miles, build that, and then get another permit. Instead of getting the permit, the environmental impact statement for the whole route.
Oh,
they would do it
really?
little by little. So right now they are still drilling on that little section where they can, or building, yes. But it is a victory that the Army Corps said they need to do that assessment. But really, we just got to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, it puts the project on pause, and it's going to be on pause for like a minute, because supposedly it takes 3 to 6 months for them to build that report.
Yeah.
So at least for now, we've won that battle. But what it matters is the bigger war. Like that pipeline can still be finished pretty quickly, and without much media attention, unless independent media brings the attention to it, because corporate media is not going to, which actually draws into our next story if we're ready to go right into it.
I'm ready.
Well, let's pause and appreciate something, what we were talking about earlier, and that's Vanilla Ice and his defense of Under Pressure.
We sampled them from him, but it's not the same bass line. Like it goes ding, 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 diggy, ding, ding. Ding, 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 diggy, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. That's the way theirs goes. Ours goes ding, 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 diggy, ding, ding. Ding, 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 diggy, ding, ding. We sampled.
And that fucking smile on his face.
Yeah, I was about to say, the look on his face, he's like, ha ha, I got you. It's this shit-eating grin with this fucking Jay Leno fucking hair stripe shit.
Yeah, and
his pompadour.
The thing I was able to find on it is this case never went to court, as it was clear Vanilla Ice had stolen the sample without permission. He settled out of court with Queen and David Bowie for an undisclosed, very likely, very high amount.
Oh, okay.
Can we play it one more time? Can we play it one more time?
We sampled them from him, but it's not the same bass line. Like it goes ding, 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 diggy, ding, ding. Ding, 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 diggy, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. That's the way theirs goes. Ours goes ding, 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 diggy, ding, ding. Ding, 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 diggy, ding, ding.
You gotta use that little picture, right? You gotta screenshot it and use that so people can see what we're laughing at.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking awesome.
All right, so the main topic we wanted to cover today, and we won't have as much time as we normally do to talk about these things. It's fake news made a lot of headlines, and a lot of people have been blaming it, from Hillary Clinton down to like just the regular news folks have been like finally talking about it, because it's been something that has been overlooked, and Facebook is now taking action on it to try and minimize how much fake news is going around on Facebook, because that's the main place people have been getting their fucking news the last 2 years, which is a nightmare.
Yeah.
All
well,
right.
even like longer than that. Like, I don't watch regular news. When I get news, it's been on social media for the past fucking decade.
Which is scary there as well.
Yeah.
You have to be very conscious of where you're getting your news and what your sources are.
Yeah.
So, because I get my news from Facebook as well, mainly from YouTube, but I still will watch, TV agencies, news agencies. But you have to watch everything you watch with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Think rationally about it and double check the shit.
Like, even if you're watching from CNN, even if you're watching from Fox, you seriously have to take it all with a grain of salt,
especially from Fox.
Yeah.
Well, and so here's what I do. Like, I use MSN as my main news source, and MSN imports a lot of news from different news sites. So what you have to do is take into account like what their biases are and account for those things. And when you think that their bias is going to color the story, then you have to go to a second source before you can use that story. So, for example, we know CNN was donating to Hillary Clinton's campaign and also taking money from Hillary Clinton for advertisements. That creates a huge conflict of interest, especially when it's like their CEO is donating to Hillary Clinton personally.
Yeah.
Those things, like, so when you read Hillary news stories from CNN, you have to take into account that, hey, some of this is going to be colored. I need to get another side of the story. And Fox News is always colored. Like, Fox News has got to be one of the most biased sites that has normal press, like, can have a camera in the White House. And that's kind of like where the legitimacy comes from, is if you're allowed to have a camera in the White House, you're considered mainstream news. So anytime that Sean Hannity says the mainstream news or the corporate media or the liberal media, you have to realize that he's talking also about Fox News in a sense. And also, none of it's liberal media. It's all pro-corporate media, even if it's leaning left a little bit, like on social issues like same-sex marriage. CNN was good on that, was good on same-sex marriage.
But still pro-corporate.
But still pro-corporate, for sure.
Yeah.
So when you read stories, when you see the lack of stories about the pipeline on CNN, the Dakota Access Pipeline that we were just talking about, you have to understand that they have a vested interest where they're getting money for advertisements from oil industry.
Yeah.
And so you have to get it from a variety of sources. Also, there are sources that are just bullshit, and that's like the Breitbarts of the world. And Joe, shame on you.
Hey, I also shared that article. I know, I'm sorry, but I also shared that article talking about Breitbart and how a lot of news from Breitbart's
is bullshit.
When it comes to like an African American breaking the law, they automatically labeled African American Black Lives Matter member.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that just brings out a good point to think about, is because I correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. I think you probably shared that because of your bias, and I'm not using that in a negative way.
Yeah.
Your bias towards Hillary.
Yeah,
dislike Hillary.
I do
at such a level that you might be willing to share things without checking them or whatever it is.
No,
but
I agree.
I
have noted and I've realized that about myself.
I know,
but I have been working towards growing and fixing it.
And that's good. And that's my whole point, is we need to check our biases at the door. And it's hard. Everybody has biases, and most people don't check them at the door, including myself. But we have to do our best to check our biases at the door.
And most of the time, like when I read something about an atheist versus the state, I usually am like automatically on the side of the atheist, because 9 out of 10 times that I read a story, the atheist has done nothing wrong. But there have been times when atheists are actually like crunching, stepping on the rights of other people, like with their speech, or also demonstrating in a place that they shouldn't be. And again, like I've talked about this last time, there are ways to protest where you can protest and have the right message. But because you're doing it in the wrong way, or because you're doing it without the correct permits, you can get arrested. And that's all fair. Like if you do things that are, like if I go in without some sort of document, I can't go and stand on state grounds on like the Capitol and protest and make that without risk of being arrested, because I don't have the permits to do so.
Yeah.
And that's, again, sometimes that's a way to make a stronger statement. Like a lot of the civil rights statements, they were arrested, and rightfully so, according to the law, because they didn't have the permits to be there. But it was obviously done in a hideous way that the state shouldn't have done it. But looking back at history. But let's talk about a couple of the news stories. So there's Pizzagate, where a guy took a gun into a pizza shop,
and he did fire some shots, right?
He fired to the floor.
He didn't kill
shot
anybody.
Into the floor, I believe.
Yeah. So and this is the danger of news story. Like it almost has a death toll to it, right? The fake news does. And there was another story about this woman who harassed a parent of one of the children in the Sandy Hook death. And there's a strong belief that the Sandy Hook, this rumor that Sandy Hook was just a hoax by the government. And it's not. It was not a hoax by the government. The coverage was biased, sure. And a lot of the politicians tried to act on it, say, we need stronger gun restrictions. And I'm not sure if they went over the edge on it at all. I'm sure some of them did.
Yeah.
But because there is a constitutional right to bear arms. But the point is that this man was unrightfully, like, I mean, just imagine losing your child and then having some woman try and say you're a liar and harass you about it.
And it's funny, like the Alex Jones of the world will say this was a conspiracy to take our guns. So let's think about it for a second quickly. What happened after Sandy Hook? There were 3 proposed bills. One was AR, an assault rifle ban, and that's in quotations. One was a high-capacity magazine ban. Those 2 didn't even make it to the fucking floor. The only one that made it to the floor was a background check, a universal background check, which I agree with. And that didn't even fucking pass. So you have these people saying it's a conspiracy to take guns away, but the only thing that even made it to a vote was to maybe we can do some background checks, and it didn't even fucking pass. Yeah. It's just... Your conspiracy is bullshit because none of it even happened or even, like, almost happened.
Yeah, and D'Souza and what was the guy's name again? The guy you just mentioned who said that there's a conspiracy.
Oh, Alex Jones.
Yeah. So those 2 people have both been very vocal about how Obama is going to take your guns away. Obama's going to take your guns away. Obama hasn't even tried. He's been a fucking pussy. Like, he believes in gun rights, but he's been a fucking pussy about trying to get legislation passed, about universal background checks, which, again, is something that I think everybody at this table is for, even though 2 of the people here have a history of owning guns. I don't think Matt owns a gun right now, but, like, I'm not sitting at a table with a bunch of pro-gun or with a bunch of anti-gun people. Like, there's common sense gun legislation that makes sense, and that's what Obama has been pushing for. He hasn't been trying to take anybody's guns away, or he's been the most ineffective motherfucker at trying to do so.
He's been in office for 8 years. So he hasn't even tried. I mean, if he was at some point, he would have tried somewhere in there. And I keep seeing these posts. Oh, he's going to be in office for 30 more days. Everyone hide your guns. He's going to try something. And it's like, for fuck's sakes, if he hasn't tried in the fucking 8 years he's been in, he's not going to try in the last 30 days.
And who benefits from these conspiracies being spread? Who benefits? It's the fucking gun manufacturers. Hey, and I am totally pro-gun. I don't think we should ban AR-15s. I don't think we should ban high-capacity magazines. I think I should be able to own those as long as I can pass a background check, as long as I get some training and they know I'm not a fucking violent psycho. I should be able to own that fucking gun.
Yeah.
But who is benefiting from those fucking lies?
Well,
the gun manufacturers. And if gun... Second Amendment fucking right motherfuckers thought about this for 2 seconds, they would know, obviously, that the gun manufacturers are the ones spreading, the NRA, they're the ones spreading this shit that Obama's going to take your guns.
So you can go buy more guns.
And the other people who benefit from it, like from conspiracy stories, are the conspiracy theorists. Like, this is how they make their money. This is how they make their bread and butter.
Oh, Alex Jones, I'm sure he's making a grip. Every time he says some crazy off-the-wall shit like that.
He actually... promoted a guy. I watched it with my mom. She showed me the video. I had to tell her it was bullshit. He promoted a guy that was like, you need to buy all this food and like prepper stuff,
Provisions.
You need to buy all this because all this shit's gonna happen. Blah blah blah. And that guy was like promoted by Alex Jones.
Yeah.
So Alex Jones is like preaching end of times, and then he's like promoting a guy who's selling shit for end of times.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just listen to a clip from his show and think about who is benefiting from his end of the world type of talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a revolutionary act to unplug from the television, to unplug from the computer and all the globalist propaganda, and to go out in your backyard or your front yard or planters at your apartment or on the roof of the building where you live and to plant a garden.
Here are some of the amazing deals at InfoWars Seed Center at InfoWarsShop.com. The Survival Seed Vault by My Patriot Supply features only the finest survival heirloom seeds for a robust and hardy garden, even in the toughest of times. The ARC All-in-One Seed Kit contains 70 varieties of 50,000 seeds of fruits, vegetables, medicinal, and culinary herbs. All ARC seeds are heirloom. Each type is labeled and sealed separately for ease of use and longevity. The Deluxe Emergency Seed Bank combines...
Thank you guys for watching. Or listening.
Thanks for listening.
So next time, think passionately.
Oh, baby.
Remember to check us out on Spreaker and YouTube.
Do it now. Leave comments. Get involved. Get involved with us. Bye.